In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the driver's side rear power window regulator with motor. It's located right inside your door shell here. The process for the driver's side is the same for the passenger side. Now we're going to disconnect your battery. We're going to go ahead and open up the trunk lid. I'm going to go ahead and lift up the spare tire cover area here, and that's going to expose our battery on the passenger side rear of the vehicle. We're going to use our 10mm wrench, and we're going to loosen the nut on our ground terminal here. Once you have that loose, we're going to spin that and disconnect it. I'm going to come on over to the positive side. We're going to do the same here. I'm going to disconnect that, set that aside. On the bottom of the rear door panel is going to be a series of 4 Phillips head screws. There's 3 across the bottom and then 1 up in the door jamb area. Let's go ahead and loosen and remove those screws. Now right behind our rear door pull here, there's going to be a little plastic button. I'm going to use a pick. I'm going to go in there and just pop that button out. Behind that button, you're going to find a Phillips head screw. Go ahead and use your screwdriver and loosen and remove that. Go ahead and set that aside. So underneath the door pull right here, we're going to use our pick and pop out this little hidden cover right here. There is a Phillips head screw inside there. Go ahead, loosen and remove that. Give that door panel a shake and you can pop that screw right out like that. Now on the back side here is going to be 3 of these plastic locking push pins here. I'm just going to use the tip of my screwdriver and just push that in just a little bit. Do the same for the other 2. I'm going to go behind using our trim tool and just gently pop that out. Do the same for these here. Once you get these 3 out here, there's 2 on the front side of the door panel. We'll get that next. I'm going to go ahead and grab that door panel. Go ahead and pull up on that there. And on the inside, we have our handle rod we want to go ahead and disconnect. There's a blue clip right here that holds onto that rod. You can use a tool here if you want to go ahead and pry that clip. Once that pops off, you can lift the rod up and out. Here's that blue clip. We have our power connector over here. I'm going to press in on a little spring clip on the side of it. Just give that a wiggle and pop that off. You can go ahead and set that door panel aside. Once you get your door panel off, we have our water shield here. You want to go ahead and remove this here. Around the perimeter, there's an adhesive from the factory. And this is very, very strong on this particular application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a razor blade and I'm going to cut the adhesive. You want to be careful when using a new blade. But you're basically going to cut the adhesive and pull that water shield off of the door. Now, if the water shield tears or something, it's not critical. We're going to come back and probably use some sort of strong tape or something to secure this back on in the end. But do the best you can to remove it all in one piece. And we go ahead and take our water shield, feed the harness through the panel. And go ahead and slide that over the rod. And go ahead and set this aside. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect our wire harness to the door panel temporarily. We also went ahead and we reconnected the battery for a short time here. When I connect this, we want to go ahead and lower the window regulator down to the point we can get access to the glass clamps through the door panel. So with the key in the on position, we're going to go ahead and lower our regulator. And what we're looking for is the 10mm bolt here, and there should be another one on the other side through here. At that point there, we can go ahead and shut off the key and disconnect the harness from the door panel. Using your 10mm socket and extension, I'm going to go ahead and loosen the 10mm bolts here, holding the glass clamps. Now we're not going to remove those bolts. We just want to loosen them. At this point here, you're going to reach down, grab that glass, and we're going to wiggle that up. Go ahead and pull that glass up. And you can use tape if you have it, but you want to secure the glass from falling down inside. We have our glass suction cups here, just to keep that from keeping that glass from falling down inside. Now I want to go ahead and remove the regulator. We're going to loosen the bolts that have slots on them, and we're going to remove the bolts that don't have any slots. Before we do so, disconnect this connector here using a pick. You want to go ahead and pop this little red lock tab out. Pinch this tab on the back. Disconnect it like so. Using your 10mm socket. Slide that bracket out. Now before we install our new regulator, we want to go ahead and loosen the two bolts here for our glass clamps. And then the two bolts on the top and bottom, loosen those so we can slide them into the door shell. Let's go ahead and slide this unit up inside. With the regulator in place here, go ahead and snug down the 2 bolts. The next thing we need to do, connect our unit here. Now what we have to do is reconnect our door panel, power this up, and we're going to have to bring our regulator down so we can get access to the bolts here. We're going to do that right after we install this bracket. We're going to connect our wire harness to the door panel temporarily and lower our regulator, get access to the bolts here. At this point here, you can go ahead and remove your tape or your suction cups. I'm going to slowly lower the glass down into the glass tracks. I want to make sure that these are open enough to fit the glass. Now what you want to do here is make sure you have these bolts loose enough where you can slide the glass down into the rubber grab pads there. You put your arm right inside here, reach around through this side and open up the regulator. Make sure the glass is inside. You can push down on the glass, make sure it's seated. Once it's seated, go ahead and tighten down those bolts. Install the bolt for the motor bracket right here. Tighten that down. Before we install our water shield on our door panel, you always want to go ahead and test everything, make sure that everything is okay and nothing needs any adjustments. Perfect, everything is working good. Let's go ahead and install our water shield. Now I went ahead and we lined the perimeter of our water shield with some heavy duty tape here. I want to go ahead and feed the door handle rod through the panel and bring this back into place. And then we have that wire harness on the front side we need to poke through. Let's go ahead and line up the panel here. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to go ahead and line things up and get it into place here. Along the top of our door shell here, there are 2 plastic retainer clips. These are actually a 2-piece unit. This button piece will fit into the door panel itself, and then the other piece will actually lock into the door. They are very fragile, so don't be surprised if they crack a little bit when you pop them out. Using our trim tool to pop out that middle button, and that's what you should get. Do the same for this one here. Once you have these out, going over to your door panel, And on the top, you can take these little clips, slide them in, do the same for the other one. And let's go ahead and install that door panel. We'll install an electrical connector on the back side here. Press it in, you'll hear it and feel it snap into place. Next, we want to install our actuator rod. And when we do that, we have to install the rod on the back side of the handle. And then we're going to push the blue clip over and snap it onto the rod. Once that's snapped on, I want to go ahead and support that panel. Bring it up, get your door lock button through. Go ahead and hang that door panel on the window sweep and slowly lower it down into place and push it in. Engaging those clips we just installed and the metal retainers, and work your way around the perimeter, making sure the door is fitting flush, and we're good. Install our screw behind the door handle. I'm going to go ahead and get that in place. And go ahead and tighten that down, and then we can close up that little button over the top of it. Snap that on. Install the screw in the lower middle portion of that door panel. Tighten that down, and we can close up our little button cover here. Install our screws across the bottom of the door panel. Once you have that in, let's go ahead and install our plastic lock buttons. I'm going to install our button bases here. And then install our center locks. Let's go ahead and reconnect our battery here. Install the positive terminal here. Let's go ahead and tighten that down. And once you have that good and tight, go ahead and install your ground terminal. We'll do the same for this. At that point there, we can go ahead and close down our cover here, and you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.